Part of it is also, and Base Commander Colonel Lipinski has been in this office, and we've interacted on numerous occasions, both management-wise and just social. I mean, he broke the Kabasa at the Kabasa Festival last week as he came out here, and he spoke, and we just had dinner Monday with our veterans, with our Memorial Day celebration. His job is to make sure that he shows how Westover is very cost effective for the military's air reserve base planning. Our job is to work with them on that. By that I mean, one of the things we're doing is we have military housing outside the James Street Gate that we're working with them, and there's a grant that and really Massachusetts is one of the few states that had a military bond bill. So we were using state money to help support federal bases. And part of that money was to help us tear down old, dilapidated housing that had lead and asbestos, etc. in there, put solar fields up, and those solar fields would generate electricity that we could then generate savings for the base's operation. And we make it, and I think the plan right now is a 5% saving. People say, what's 5%? They use $2 million worth of power a year. So 5% would be $100,000 a year that they could show how this base is more cost effective. Because that's what BRAC is all about. How can we get the most for our buck from these bases? And that is one aspect. And we continue to work with them with our water distribution system, with interacting with our vendors and their vendors. Mary sits actually, on part of this community platform to see how in the region we can work better with them. The other aspect is the civilian aspect, the terminal. I actually was on the board when we built that in the 80s, and it's very important, Ron, to utilize that. One of the uniquenesses about Westover is it's a military base with a civilian component. For instance, Barnes is a civilian base with a military component. That may seem like a subtle difference, but it's not. But we're continuing to work on this shared use and Mike Bolton now has taken over the leadership of the airport and looking to see how in this market we can then expand the civilian aspects of that base. Because clearly civilian flights, if not anything else, civilian aircraft repair would be a major catalyst for our area and a component for future development. Because the more civilian use up there, the more civilian payment of the expenses of the base, the less the base costs for the military to operate it. So it's a very simple scenario. Unfortunately, there's a number of steps that have to be taken to accomplish that. But that's part of the agenda. It's part of what we talk with, and we meet. I think we have a meeting in June. We meet almost bi-monthly on these type of issues. What can we do? Work with mass development. Mass development is an integral part of this. Our legislative delegation that approved that military bond bill that allocated, there's actually $5 million allocated for training to set up a UMass campus so that there'd be training at Westover for traffic controllers and related aviation educational components. So there's $6 million right there that the state's contributing. $1 million for, like I said, the solar, $5 million for the UMass component.